Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today we will be reviewing Garrison Raspberry Wheat Ale. It is a 4.6% alcohol ale. It's brewed in Nova Scotia by the Garrison Brewing Company. It's apparently one of the proud independent breweries there, much like Moosehead and other breweries around Canada. Label wise, looks kind of childy, but hey. I've got a few other Garrison products that were dropped off to me from a friend of mine that was in Nova Scotia. The other bottles look pretty nice. If you're a bottle cap collector, it's no good to you, but the beer itself may be good. So, let's see. Now again, this wheat lets me down a little bit. It isn't opaque or cloudy. It is pretty see-through. There's a lot more carbonation in there than I would expect. You've got your average head, just a tiny bit of bubbling at the top. It's a nice darker gold, light amberish color. Does look nice in the glass. I just wish it was more opaque. Scent-wise, there's a hint of raspberry. It's not a huge, strong sensation, so it's probably not going to be the most prominent thing on my palate when I drink it. I smell mostly malt. I get some grains in there. It has a slight hoppy scent at the end, but yeah, it's mostly malt, grainy. Then I'd say raspberry, and then at the end of it all, a little bit of hops, just a tiny touch of bitterness at the end. Raspberry is a pretty sweet sensation. Not overpoweringly sweet, but you know it's there. It's a curious smell. The only other raspberry wheat I've had is KLB, and that one you really know you're drinking raspberry, so let's find out how this is. Now that's interesting. It is fairly fruity, but not in a bad way. It's really smooth. It goes down really easy. You would think it would be more harsh on the palate because of the amount of carbonation, but it's actually kind of soft. Initially, it starts off kind of sweet with a malt taste to it. That's pushed to the side with a raspberry sensation. The raspberry sensation hits right after the malt, continues all the way through. It's still there at the end. The end does have a hops and grainy sensation entering it. It kind of has a grainy texture to it at the end. There is a bit of hops. It is slightly bitter on the finish. The finish mixes really well with the raspberry. I mean, the raspberry and the hops really do mingle nicely. It's very nice and sweet. And then you get the hops bitterness. The hops bitterness is what lasts into the finish the most, but you still have the sensation of the raspberry. I mean, I can still taste the raspberry, but I have a bitter sensation to it, and it makes me remember that I'm drinking beer and not a cooler or anything, and I actually like that concept. the concept that you're drinking a fruit beer, not a fruit flavored beer or a beer with fruit added. It's a fruit beer. I mean, the beginning is beer, the middle is fruit, the end is beer, and that's what I like with my fruit beers. And I like the fruit beers too when you have the finish with a tiny mingling still of that fruit. I mean, I know I drank beer, but I know I drank a fruit beer because of that tiny, tiny mingling at the very end. I actually enjoy this. My only comment is if it's going to be a wheat beer, I expect it to be a little more unfiltered. Other than that, I can't take anything away from this. Scent-wise, it's pretty good. Look-wise, it's pretty good. Taste-wise, it's pretty good. I can't say anything about the price because I didn't buy it. Never bought any liquor in Nova Scotia, so I have no idea what a normal beer would be there. But it is a pretty good beer. Garrison, you have a fan here in Ontario. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10, mostly because I find it such a good fruit flavored beer. I can't give it above a 7.5 because I've had better fruit flavored beers. I don't want to put this in that same category as the ones that I've had better, but it's a close second to them. And I'm hoping to go to Nova Scotia myself now to just get some more of this stuff and try whatever else they have to offer. But thank you for watching. This has been another Albino Rhino beer review. Here, sort of in White's Tavern. Have yourselves a good night.